To stay or not to stay? That is the question. Well, the question that is being brought forward by the Alberta Prosperity Project. This is the official question that they would like to have put on the upcoming, what could be the upcoming referendum of Alberta separating from Canada proper. Ladies and gents, welcome back. The talk of the town is Alberta separation since the election. Canadians elected the Carney government. Well, should I say Canadians? Eastern Canadians elected the Liberals again for a fourth term, and the West was largely left out of that decision because the West almost unanimously voted for the Conservatives in that election. Now, this puts the two sides of Canada really largely at odds, and especially the province of Alberta, where people are really, really outspoken about this. Let's get into it. Peter Menzies saying 5 cabinet seats for 1/3 of Canadians, close to 14 million who live in the west of Upper Canada, and 5 for the 2 million living east of Quebec. And people say Danielle Smith is the one fueling Western alienation. This is the representation in this country. It is absolutely absurd, and well, this is why you see Western separation on the ticket right now. This is really the answer to what people have been asking for decades. Can we have a little bit more representation instead of just taking our money and giving it to other people? Obviously, the transfer payments, a big issue in this case, because democracy ends when you figure out that you can just vote yourself other people's things. That's really where things go. But this is where we've been going in this country for some time, and it's really coming to a head. Now, there's tons and tons of support. I have a Chipiuk posting this video of the support of all these people that have shown up to run a citizen-led initiative. This is what citizens activated and ready to hold the government to account looks like. And it's wonderful. That's a packed house. That is a lot of people showing up. Salty Albertan saying it will continue to grow in mass. Alberta wants out. We cannot endure another corrupted Liberal government. We're looking at another 4 years, folks. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's not beat around the bush and say, well, it's just around the corner. No, we're looking at almost a majority in the parliament, and it's not looking good. Not for Western Canada. I mean, if you're from Eastern Canada and you voted for Carney, good on you. You got what you wanted. There might be a lot of people out there that are not happy with that, and to them, I'd say my condolences. Absolutely, but Alberta is moving forward, and this is really what's going on here. And this is a citizen-led initiative. Don't get this mistaken. This isn't the government of Alberta being upset with the outcome of the election. Danielle Smith is largely moving to not thwart this, but moving to convince Albertans that staying would be a better option. And that's been her stance since that. So the government of Alberta not pushing forward with this, but respecting the fact that a citizen-led initiative, this is democracy, mind you. This is how things work. So a citizen-led initiative is pushing for this. And this is the Alberta Prosperity Project. Alberta Separatist Group releases a proposed referendum question, plans to push for the vote this year. This is pretty big, a pretty big news story. So the question being, do you agree that the province of Alberta shall become a sovereign country and cease to be a province of Canada? Yes or no? Now, there are some people voicing their opinion that they don't like the question, they don't like this, they don't like that about this thing. Maybe they don't like the organization, maybe they want somebody else to head this. But nonetheless, this is a citizen-led initiative, and this is why citizens can get involved, and the Alberta Prosperity Project is an open website where you can contact a lot of these individuals that are working on this and perhaps join, become a volunteer, or share your discontent with the ideas that they have pushing forward. An Alberta Separatist Group has released a proposed referendum question on sovereignty from Canada, saying they will push the Premier for a vote as soon as this year. That is, if they can garner enough support from enough provincial residents. During the news conference Monday, Jeff Rath, who I've had on the show, fantastic guy, very full of energy. Go check out the video of us together. There's several on the channel, so go have a look at that. The lawyer with the Alberta Prosperity Project pulled a blue provincial flag off an easel, revealing the question printed in large font. Do you agree with that the province shall become a sovereign country and cease to be a province of Canada? Now, this is, again, well, he points it out. It's not a wishy-washy question like they had in Quebec, Rath said, referring to a similar separatism referendum held in 1995 that nearly saw the French-Canadian province separate from the country. Now, back in that referendum, the question was alluding to other laws that maybe people were unaware of, and it was just very wishy-washy, as he points out there. And despite the wishy-washiness of the question, they nearly landed a winning referendum. They nearly separated from Canada in that referendum. So this, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with this. The question of Alberta separatism returned to the forefront of social media debate after Premier Danielle Smith tabled legislation in April to reduce the threshold for the petition to trigger the referendum. Now, the way this works is it used to be 20% of all people registered to vote in the province would have to sign a petition, which was 600,000 people. Now, she lowered the bar for that because it seemed untenable for any citizen-led initiative to get 600,000 pledges or signatures on a ballot or on a petition. So it made it a little bit more feasible by saying it should be 10% of the electorate that showed up for the vote. So, you know, if 1.7 million people showed up, then 177,000 people should be able to put together a petition. Now, Jeff Rath is saying their goal is to get the 600,000 pledges and not just get a referendum to the referendum, but to win the referendum. And this is the whole idea behind this. Now, a lot of people saying, poo-pooing this idea, there's no possibility that this could happen. Even if they had a referendum and they were successful at this, there's no roadmap. There's no way to get the province to separate. The other provinces will poo-poo the idea. The indigenous people will poo-poo the idea, veto, and say, no, it can't happen. But this is lawyer Keith Wilson, constitutional expert who would know a few things about this whole thing, says, no. Actually, after the Quebec referendum, they gave us a roadmap, and it's very much about to happen.
Canada is an anomaly for a modern democracy in that other countries do not put into their constitutional framework a process for a region of the country, province of the country, or a state of the country to leave, to declare independence. They don't do that. Canada has. And it was in 98, as you know, as arising from the Quebec referendum succession movement. And so the Supreme Court of Canada has laid out a legal pathway for a province to vote to declare itself to be independent, and then the steps that are necessary to complete the process of that province becoming its own country. And what's also unusual from an international norms perspective, from an Alberta perspective or Canadian perspective, is Alberta is the only province that has put in every step of the way legislation, right from the Citizen Initiative Act, to allow citizens to petition the Alberta government to hold a referendum, and referendum legislation to allow the referendum on independence to be held.
That's a big thing. So for all those people that are poo-pooing the idea, it's absolutely possible for this to take place, and it will be unilateral. It will be, one province divorcing the rest of the provinces and saying, yeah, of course there'll be, lengthy court battles and all this other stuff once they're gone. So to be bye-bye, come at me, bro, but we're gone already. So moving on at the end of the day. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about all of this. Obviously, referendum. We've had referendums in Canada and it became a divisive issue. But is this a divisive issue? I don't see it as much like that. I see it as someone who's not a resident of Alberta. I see Alberta saying, saying we want our independence. We're tired of being held down by this federal government, as a push towards liberty. I see this not as a divisive thing, but an inclusive thing, to say we want liberty. I hope for the other provinces that you can fight and get yours as well. This is very much a movement towards liberation of a province, not not anything in any sort of negative connotation. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about all of this stuff, and make sure you've subscribed to the channel. Make sure you've hit the like button and notification bell, because that lets you know when we go live. We'll see you in the next one. Keep on tracking.